What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are finally getting rid of the monster truck fitment on the STI. The rally look isn't bad, but that's not what I want to do with this car. So today we got a brand new set of coilovers that we're going to be installing. I went ahead and I picked up a set of BC Racing coilovers. Now these are a custom spec. They are the DS series coilover, which if you don't know the difference between the DS and the BR is a linear piston setup, whereas the DS is a digressive piston setup. This is the piston setup that is on a lot of the coilovers, such as the Fortunato and the Öhlins, I believe, and the HKS2. There's a lot of science behind it, but basically allows for good performance on the track without the harshness on the street, which is exactly what I'm looking for. I also got the Swift Spring upgrade, which we just put on just a little bit ago. Super easy to do. All you have to do is unscrew both the bottom mounting bracket. I don't even know what it's called. You basically remove everything below the spring, and then the spring will come off the shock this way. You slide it back on, reset your preload. The preload on these shocks is about 5 millimeters, or you can just use the width of the wrench, which is what we did. And these Swift springs look a lot better in my mind. You can't tell me that the gold springs do not look pretty cool. So we are 8K all around, just like the factory setup. I didn't want anything too harsh, because like I said, we do like performance out of the cars, but we don't want something that's an absolute pain to ride all the time, especially with the roads here in Tucson. So we're gonna get the car jacked up and get started on this install.
Now I'll do it.
If you don't know what an eccentric bolt is, it's basically a bolt that allows camber adjustment. So you have a lobe on the bolt, so as you rotate it in the hub, it pushes the hub in and out. It's pretty simple, it's pretty rudimentary. It doesn't offer you a whole lot of adjustment as far as camber wise, but that's why on the new coilovers we have camber plates, which will allow us a lot more adjustability when it comes to camber. There is a bolt that holds the brake line onto the strut, as well as the ABS line is clipped in on the side. You want to make sure that you do those first before you start dropping the knuckle and the hub, because you don't want to rip those out of place. That would be a really bad day. So we did the top bolt, but we waited to do the bottom bolt, so we're going to get these undone first, and then we'll go ahead and drop the hub. Yeah, dude, the clips are actually terrible.
I feel like I'm breaking more than I'm ever taking out.
Oh, 100%.
Or I just break them to take them out.
But this sucks because it's like, it's the ABS connector, so.
Don't want to light on your dash forever.
Yeah, or just, I would like.
It would be nice for them to work.
It'd be nice to have ABS. That's kind of a nice thing to have.
So you can get
Got it. So on the bottom one, it's not eccentric, so it doesn't really matter how it's oriented. But this is the bottom knuckle bolt. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna lower the knuckle and the hub assembly very slowly. Oh! Ah! Oh, it's not going.
Oh no. I think it's just friction on.
Yeah, it's held in there.
There you go. It did something.
Stuff like that. Okay, sweet.
What's that?
I can put some upward pressure on it to take the load off.
Sure. Oh, I just lost one. Do you have a magnet thing? I can still see it.
Yeah, we'll get in just a second.
I try to hold on to that.
Alright. And pull it out. Just like that. It's easy. Go ahead and comparing both the shocks. The OEM struts are pretty big. If you haven't already gathered that. Here's the new BC setup. We're going to kind of compare height and kind of make them as similar as we can, and then we can lower it from there once we get it on the car. So we're gonna go ahead and do that and then start installing the new strut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we got the strut all in. We're definitely gonna have to raise it up. You can tell just by looking at the droop on the other side that this thing is gonna be slammed, so we're definitely gonna have to raise it. I'm gonna leave it like this just because I'm kind of curious to see what it looks like. We're gonna go through and just get the other driver's side done. Now that we've kind of showed this, there's no point in showing it twice, so we're just gonna go through and get it all done. we had to go and run and buy some tools because apparently my torque wrench does not go past 100 foot-pounds. We're kind of ballparking alignment and ride height. I'm going for 1 finger gap on the fenders. I think that'll be usable. It'll be something that'll look good and it won't be scraping all over the place. The chassis still sits pretty low, so you can't go too much lower without running into scraping on a bunch of stuff, especially with the road conditions that we have here in Tucson. So for the rear, it's not too bad. We did have to pull out all the trunk mat and everything, but under here you have both of the top hat bolts. There's just 2, and then on the lower half, you have to pull out the bolts on the lower control arm. There's 3, one that connects to the knuckle, the strut, and then your sway bar end blink, I believe. And then the lower control arm will swing down and then we can drop the strut from there.
And you can't drop it if not.
You wanna get the jack for me?
Yeah.
That would be lovely.
And it's full of oil.
Yo, mammy. I don't wanna say that.
Coming from this side?
I can't. I just need it under the hub. Not the hub, the rotor. You know what I meant, damn it.
You have a sway bar you need to take off. You probably need to loosen this one so you don't.
Oh shit, we're gonna need the 14 wrench. Oh, you're so smart, bro.
It's all that
all the way
coming.
through.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're done.
You can just bring it up farther.
Ow.
Dude, this is like totally out of frame.
Really?
No.
Oh, you're on smoke today. I don't know why. No, never mind. Don't tell me what I'm doing wrong, because I'm not doing anything wrong, man.
Throw a Hellcat motor in it.
Why does I feel like I'm not tightening it? Like I'm just spinning it.
Oh, well, you're not spinning it. I wouldn't do that to you. That's pretty asshole.
It literally feels like
up here.
Are you gonna break that fucking bolt?
No, dude. It doesn't feel like it's tightening. It just feels like it's spinning.
It's probably stretching.
All right, wait, chill.
Yeah, it feels like it's just.
Unless the bottom bushing
It's spinning in the.
is smaller than the control arm on the other one. No, it's.
No, this doesn't feel right, bro. We have ride height loosely adjusted. I went for about a finger gap all around, so hopefully we'll see where it sits when we lower it. But without further ado, let's get it lowered.
Oh, right up there too. That kind of looks like it's settling a little bit.
It's definitely lower.
The front's definitely lower. I think this settled a little bit more.
I'd say I'm gonna lower it. Let's get the tape measure out. So we're like, this is an exact measurement. We're like right at 14. All right, so this is kind of what we have going on here. I'm pretty happy with it. We're a little bit higher in the rear than we are in the front. But all the springs will settle a little bit and I may have to do some adjustment. I'd say if anything, I might go a little higher in the front, but we're still sitting at, a 1 finger gap at least. So we'll see how it rides. We haven't done anything to camber. All we've done is we've used the factory eccentric bolt, kind of get it to what it was before we took everything off. I don't feel comfortable messing with alignment yet, so I'm just gonna get to a shop and they can do the whole alignment themselves and get it dialed in. All right, here we go. So far it feels pretty good. It definitely feels, I would say the dampening level that we have right now, very similar to stock, which is not a bad thing. I'd probably bump up dampening just a little bit, but it feels pretty good.
Still scoots.
I would say it feels stiffer. I'll play around with the damping. I might bump it up a little bit. So we set the dampening right at halfway at 15. So there's 30 clicks total, but we set it to 15 right in the middle just to see where we wanted it. but I'll probably bump it up to maybe like 17 or 20. I don't want to go full damping. We're still on 8K spring, so that's probably why. I don't know what the stock spring rate is, but I think it's pretty close to 8K. See if it rubs on full lock. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Not too bad. I am going to fully admit fault here. I screwed up and I didn't do my research properly when it comes to torque specs on everything, and it's why we ran into issues. Thankfully, the mistake did not cause any damage. Maybe we squished the bushings a little bit on the rear struts, but they are now torqued properly to spec. I went and I dug out my, well, basically the VA chassis, WRX and STI, because they share a lot of the similar suspension components, service manual, and I went through and I looked through all the torque specs, and every single torque spec we did was wrong. My fault for not doing the proper research. The torque specs that I was using earlier were from a forum, but I mean, forums can be unreliable. Not saying that you shouldn't get information from the forum, but you know, maybe they're talking about a different chassis or a different application, you know what I mean? So make sure when it comes to torque specs, just get it from the service manual. You know, lesson learned for me, you live and you learn. This is what happens with cars. This is what we do. This is what happens when wannabe influencer with a camera starts wrenching on the cars. But we got it all dialed in now. I didn't adjust anything when it comes to ride height on the car. I kind of left it where it was. I know that the springs are gonna settle a little bit, so I kind of want to drive around for a couple days and let them settle. I think I still will order the rear lower control arms just to have that adjustability when it goes to the alignment shop, but I'm not in a rush. Honestly, this car shouldn't be out of spec too much when it comes to alignment because there's nothing to adjust when it comes to alignment. We left the struts neutral up front and made sure that the eccentric bolt was where it was when we put it in, so that shouldn't be much different. This setup shouldn't be too big of an issue when it comes to alignment wise. I will eventually get it aligned, but for right now, it's good. I think that's gonna be where I end it. It's definitely been a long install so far, so it just didn't sit right. We got back from the drive and it actually drove really well. It rides, unfortunately, I thought it was gonna ride a little bit firmer. Maybe I should have gone a little bit higher in the spring rate. I did stick with the 8K spring rate, so it is pretty much factory when it comes to that. I did bump up to dampening all the way up to 20, I believe, but it rode well. Bumps weren't jarring, very smooth, nothing rubbed. I'm really happy with these coilovers. I think that if you're in the market for some budget-friendly coilovers, nothing in car world is budget-friendly, to be perfectly honest, but highly recommend these coilovers. With that, I think it's gonna wrap it up for this video. I appreciate you guys for watching. I know this was a long one, but the support is really awesome from you guys. So with that, we'll see you in the next one.